All right. Uh, Welcome to the No Punts podcast. I'm your host Matt, and this is my co-host Elias. How you doing, man?
Doing good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Welcome to our first ever episode. I think this is both of our first podcast, right? So
Yeah, we've ran a few spaces, but it's not the same.
yeah, this is a little bit different for both of us. So just stick with us. Do you want to start off by talking a little bit about your football fandom, like how you became a football fan, how you became a Cowboys fan, all that kind of stuff?
Well, if you hop on my profile and you go far back enough, you'll see that I was rocking the Green Bay Packer jersey for a while. I actually started off a Packer fan and slowly transitioned to the Cowboys because Aaron Rodgers was on some bullshit. I just got tired of him. So I was like, think it was actually 2016 when we drafted Dak and Zeke. They almost had that undefeated season, so I joined the bandwagon. And I'm not afraid to admit it.
There you go. Man, Packers to Cowboys. That's crazy, man. What made you a Packers fan at the beginning?
Same, I don't know. I mean, their color scheme kind of matched my hometown scheme. You know, we rock green and yellow, so there was
Uh,
that. And then I saw Aaron Rodgers win that Super Bowl, so I became a bigger fan then. I mean, I was a bandwagonish. I'm not gonna lie. I'm for all teams.
no shade, no shade. You know what? I've rooted for the Packers before too, but just because of a cute girl, you know what I mean? Like cute girl wearing Packers gear. I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna see if I can make this work. But uh,
Man,
yeah, for me.
but what's up?
Oh no, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I said it's kind of hard when it comes to the NFL. Once you pick a team, you have to stick with that team. If not, you'll get cooked on the daily, bro. It's not like baseball or basketball at that. I mean, I know you're a diehard Spurs fan. I mean, so am I. But Lord
Yeah.
forbid we cheer for another team, man. They'll roast the hell out of us. When it comes to the MLB, I mean, I couldn't even name a single baseball team or a baseball player at that. I just rock their caps to hide my hairline.
Well, I think that's funny, man, because like the the Mavericks and the Clippers are playing in a playoff series, and I can't say that I want the Mavs to win because San Antonio versus Dallas. So I'm just like, I hope the Clippers lose. You know?
And I guess I'm in the 1% that doesn't hate Kawhi, so I mean, I could root for either team.
Yeah,
But
but
anyways, let's get back to that football talk, brother. How long have you been watching the NFL, and who's your favorite? Who's your current team? I mean, I already know it, but just let the people know what bullshit you're on. Come on.
all right. So uh, I've been watching the NFL forever. I'm currently a Seahawks fan, but it's a little bit out of my hands, right? So I've always enjoyed watching football. I watched the Dallas Cowboys with my family growing up and stuff, but about the time where I started making my own decisions about football fandom, we had moved from San Antonio to Oklahoma, and it's all about college football there, and it's all about OU college football specifically there. And I used to get in a lot of fights because everyone just assumed that I was like a Texas Longhorn fan. So I so I would just not care about college football. Like I wouldn't wear any college football shirts or hats or nothing like that. So I just stuck to NFL and I just watched all the NFL. You know, any game that was on, I'd watch it. So I just became like a fan of the game more so. And I just every Sunday, every Monday, I was watching all the games. And up until about the time Colin Kaepernick got fired, I kind of stopped watching NFL around that time about all the taking a knee protest, and they fired him, and it was just like such a controversy to where like you weren't even watching football anymore. It was like it was all about, oh, is he gonna take the knee or not? So like I stopped watching around that time, and you know I kind of got back into football this year, I watched the playoffs leading up to the Super Bowl, and I just kind of really forgot how much I loved watching the game. Like, I didn't even know who some of the players were on these teams, and I was like yelling at the TV like, "He's holding, ref! What the hell?" So I was like, man, I kind of forgot like how much I loved watching football, and so I wanted to get back into it, and I wanted to do something to keep me invested, which is why I wanted to start a podcast. And I thank you for coming along the ride.
Yes,
And
sir. I saw you wanted some NFL content, and I'll let you know firsthand. I'm no ESPN analyst, but we're gonna talk shit, talk football. Sign me up. So I got your back,
oh yeah,
brother.
man. And
Appreciate.
I became a Seahawks fan because I decided since I'm gonna try to do NFL content, I should try to like pick a team. But I let my Twitter followers or X followers decide through polls. So I'm a Seahawks fan. I was 1% away from being no, I think I was 3% away from being a Tennessee Titans fan. So
I'm
just is what.
if I'm being honest, I voted for the Titans. I wasn't gonna have you on my Cowboys squad, bro. Don't put that evil on my team. Kind of like the what is it? The wedding singer. Yeah,
Yeah,
take the band shirt off before they break up or whatever the hell he says.
I wasn't. I was really hoping to not be a Cowboys fan because everybody. All right, so I only know like two types of Cowboys fans. Really, like it's ones that are like just hating on the team, like oh Jerry doesn't know what the fuck he's doing and all that kind of stuff. And then it's just like these diehard fans that they'll go out every week and be like, "We're gonna win this game," and then I just see them get crushed, and they're like heavily drinking and doing drugs and stuff. I'm just like, it's not that serious, but so I was really hoping to not get the Cowboys. So I was happy with the decision. I don't know how long it'll last. Maybe just this season, but I'm rolling with the Seahawks for now.
Cowboys gonna make you a believer by the time playoffs come around. Trust me. Those dirty ass Seahawks ain't even gonna be contending. They're not even gonna take up a wild card spot, in my opinion.
Well, maybe not. They got a brand new coach. Pete Carroll's gone. New coach.
Man, they did him
New,
dirty. They just moved him to the front office or some shit, right? He's still part of the organization.
I believe so. Yeah. So it is going to be interesting. Maybe a new coach is what they need. So we'll see what they got cooking up over in Seattle. Um, I still remember them not passing the ball in the Super Bowl. Like I just remember I was at a Super Bowl party. I still it's funny because I met a lot of people at the Super Bowl party, and we like still talk to this day. I only met them at that Super Bowl party, and like we were all like 100% certain that they were going to hand off the ball and win the Super Bowl, and then they tried that stupid shovel pass, and
We all
what a
know how
day!
that ended.
What a day, man! So it is what it is at this point. We're moving forward, rebuilding. We got a lot of Texas people on the team. There's a UTSA grad on the team. There's a UT guy who just got drafted. So finding that out was pretty cool.
As for my Cowboys, I believe in the squad we have now. We're all in, and we're gonna win the Super Bowl this season.
Yes.
Y'all know I'm playing. We ain't gonna do shit, but I'm still gonna ride with my boys. No pause. I said ride with.
Right. We don't pause around here, you guys. We press play.
We just let it fly. So yeah, I have all my faith in Rain Dakota Prescott taking us to the promised land.
Yeah, that's the way you got to be because you're not getting nobody else, bro. So it's either him or nothing.
So what am I gonna do? Start off the season saying, "Oh, my team's trash," and this whole season's gonna be a bust. Bad enough I had to do that with my Spurs, bro. I'm not doing that with my Cowboys.
Damn, that hurt a little bit. Not, but nah, yeah, like it's a weird time. Spurs are down, Cowboys are down, and they were both really great franchises. Well, I'd say they're still great franchises, right? But you just want to see them get back to the glory days. So, you know, let's hope that they both
Sooner
get their
rather than sooner rather than later, dude. Was I 1 or maybe a couple months when the Cowboys last won the Super Bowl. I'm 28 right now, so that tells you all you need to know.
yeah.
I was a believer in Romo. I was a believer in Prescott. I was a believer in DeMarco Murray, Ezekiel Elliott, the chosen one. He's back, baby. That's all we need to get to that second or third round in the playoffs.
Yeah, for
So,
sure. You gotta have the faith, man. Like you you go to war with the team you have, and you gotta have some faith. I haven't watched much Seahawks football, so I'm not really sure what I'm getting myself into. But I'm sure the first few games will be interesting. So
if Geno Smith is y'all's quarterback still, I haven't looked into y'all's roster. He's pretty decent. And DJ Metcalf, he's one hell of a player.
I believe as of now, Geno Smith is the
DK,
QB.
DK. I don't know why I said DJ. My bad.
You're good. Is my understanding that as of right now, Geno Smith is the QB1 now. What are your opinions on Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick, went to the Chicago Bears? What are your thoughts on him, bro?
I might be in the 1% that thinks he's overhyped. Show me
Yeah.
how he's different. Show me how he's different than Justin Fields, other than they're building a team around Caleb Williams. I mean, if Bears would have done what they're doing for this fool, I mean, they'd be just in about the same spot. I don't think Justin Fields got enough respect being in that franchise. Caleb Williams, to me, he's going to be, I won't say he's going to be a bust, but he's not going to be as good as they make him out to be. I don't know.
He's definitely new blood, and I don't just mean like a new player. He's a new guy. He's young Gen Z. A lot of people were talking trash about him, like painting his finger, like having a pink phone case and stuff. And I just, even like listening to his draft day stuff, he seemed like a little, like, I don't know how else to say it other than to say zesty. You know what I mean? Like, he was just like hyped and celebrating, kind of like how you would like in middle school still, like, you know what I mean? Like but that's just like the new generation. Like, they do that kind of stuff. Like, I see a lot of NBA players doing it, that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be a whole new thing. There's a lot of older players on the Bears, so I kind of wonder if they'll respect him in the locker room and like that kind of stuff.
Oh, how about his on-field stuff? What do you think of him as a player? Forget the zesty personality or whatever you just said. How do you think he's gonna ball out? Like I said, I don't see him being top 15 or top 10 quarterback this season. He's over here calling his punter, telling him already, you're not really gonna need to be on the field this year and whatnot. He has the confidence, but I just don't think he has enough to be that cocky. He'll never be a Patrick Mahomes,
Yeah, it's you want your quarterback to be that confident, but at the same time, it's like in boxing, they say everyone has a plan until they get hit in the face, right? So,
Exactly.
I think that we'll see how he does. I think the first time a linebacker breaks through the offensive line, it's going to be a wake up call for him, and we'll see what they do. I think that he has a lot of talent. Watching his highlights, he seems kind of just a natural. He checks his options. He doesn't look at them or anything like that to give his passes away. So I think that he's gonna be a decent QB. I just like you said, I don't think he's gonna be all that yet. Like, it's gonna take some time, and with the Bears, like, do they have the patience to put in that time? They've been, the laughing stock of the league for a while, and it's a proud franchise. The Bears, even driving around town here in San Antonio, I see like Bears fans with the flags out in the yard and stuff. So there's a lot of proud people, and I just don't know if they're gonna have patience. And then especially with all the other stuff I was talking about, they're gonna maybe hold it against him and say, you're not the right person for us or something.
Well, look what happened with Justin Fields, right? They drafted him. He was their Lord and Savior also for what, a couple of seasons, and they gave up on him. But it was never his fault. He didn't have the weapons to show out.
Yeah,
And all of a sudden, they draft Caleb Williams #1, and they decide, oh, we're gonna get him a wide receiver. We're gonna get him. We're gonna get him, better O line. We're gonna get him actual tight ends that know how to catch. You know what I mean? It's like, where was his treatment when they had Justin Fields? I mean, I don't see him much of a difference. Justin Fields went
yeah,
up high too. You know what I mean? So I mean, we'll see. He's gonna have to make a believer out of me because I don't believe in the Caleb Williams hype.
yeah. So I'm just looking at some things that people have said about him. Dane Bogler, his draft analysis says Williams needs to be more on schedule from the pocket, but you live with the hiccups because of the positives, are special with his dynamic passing skills and instinctive ability to create. Though stylistically, he's a really impressive karaoke style version of Patrick Mahomes. He is truly unique as a playmaker. So, they see him as someone who is like the great value person, the great value version of Patrick Mahomes. And I know that draft day talk is cheap, but you know, I like the kid. I think that he's not making things easier on himself with all the trash talking and all that stuff. But you know, uh, winners are like that. Wimby's like that, and we saw what he was able to do, and hopefully the Chicago Bears do a better job at putting a team around Caleb Williams than the Spurs were about putting a team around Wimby. But it's going to take probably a season or two to figure it out, and I'm hoping that they'll go from there. They also got a wide receiver, Rome News. I don't know how to say his name, but
Yeah, I
do
didn't
you
really
think?
catch the last name. Partnering him up with Cable Williams is gonna be pretty good. He's how can I describe him as he kind of reminds me of something of maybe like a Debo Samuels, just not
Yeah,
just not as aggressive or not as yeah, probably just not as aggressive, I would say. He's gonna be a great weapon for him, but like you said,
yeah,
will that partnership work out? And just because you have a good wide receiver on your squad doesn't mean the quarterback and him are gonna see eye and eye all the time. Hell, we had Amari Cooper on our squad for a bit, and Dak never went out of his way to find him. You know what I mean? So it's just wasted talent. I mean, I'm hoping for the best for these guys, but like I said, I'm gonna have to watch a few games before they make a believer out of me.
yeah, for sure. So, I think that they picked him up at number 9, and I do apologize for saying the name wrong. Rome Odd News, I think, and he is another first round pick, and he played in Washington. He was a great player there, and according to Dane Bulger, he says he's an above average weight, height, speed athlete with pass catching instincts and competitive focus to be a playmaking NFL receiver. He projects as a true X receiver and has the skill level to elevate his quarterback's play, stylistically similar to Drake London. So, if he can work out for them, I think it'll be pretty damn good. I think, a quarterback's relationship with his receivers is everything. So if they can make that work, I think that they'll be in pretty good shape. Um, they also picked up an offensive tackle from Yale, Kurian. I'm not even going to try the last name on that one. Sorry. And then they got a
An
punter
edge
from
rusher. I think you're forgetting about Montez Sweat, bro.
Montez. Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah. Yeah, so the Bears are going to be in some pretty decent shape. You know, they still have to build up their team. They have to get the chemistry right, especially with a new quarterback at the helm. But you know, if they are willing to, if he performs well, and they're willing to, you know, work with the kid, I think that the Bears can turn things around. I don't know if it'll necessarily be this season, but you know, next season you'll probably see some improvement, and then maybe by the third season, I think that if everything is going well, you know, they could be, you know, a not a contending team, but you know, a team that's flirting with wild card, you know, maybe even just making the playoffs. But we'll see how all that goes. What do you think? Do you think that they have the potential to get there, or do you think that he's going to fall flat?
Like I said, I don't see much of a difference from his game and Justin Fields' game. I mean, they had him on the squad for a good while too. They promised to build around him. That never happened. They're making the moves for Caleb Williams, so maybe, just maybe that'll be the difference maker. He has the potential to lead them to the playoffs. Now, to say that he can lead them to the Super Bowl, that's a big stretch.
The next thing that I want to talk about with you is the Cowboys draft pick. So, you being our resident Cowboys fan, what'd you think of your? We'll just go with the first round. What'd you think of your picks?
Let's see.
Because didn't you guys?
Let me see. I'm trying to remember who we got. I know we got Tyler at 29, right? That
Yeah,
pick actually worked out because I think if we had stayed on that 25th spot or 24th spot, that's who they were targeting anyway. And the fact of the matter that we were able to trade off spots with the Lions and earn a third round pick and still get the guy we wanted. I mean, that's one you can't tell me that's a failing grade in anyone's book. I
yeah.
I like
So you got Tyler Guyton at 29.
yeah, that's who I was talking about.
Yeah,
Pretty
and Marshawn Keeland in the second round. So that was your first round pick. So with Tyler Guyton, do you think that he's going to be able to uh, perform well, or do you think that he's going to be like a bench guy, or do you expect him to be a starter? What are you feeling with him?
I feel that he's going to be a starter. We have plenty of time to work on him, and the fact of the matter is, they're not just going to keep him in one position. He's going to be, a universal fitting player. He'll be able to cover us multiple positions. Not maybe not from the jump. He won't be a starter in all positions, but he'll have just enough work to get us by. I say in a few
Cool,
years
cool, cool.
he'll be up there. Yeah. What do you
So
what do
in
you
the
think
second
about
round,
him?
you got, I don't know too much. I watched his highlights, and he looked fine. Like I didn't watch much OU football. Like I was saying in the intro, like I have like a bad experience with OU football fans, so I don't watch them too much. But I did watch the Red River rivalry, and I don't really remember
Say
him.
that 5 times.
I'm not gonna do it now, but I can do it. I just don't want to do it.
It's my podcast. You can't make me.
All right, so moving on. In the second round, you guys got Marshawn Keeland with the 56th pick. Sorry, he's from Western Michigan, and I watched his highlights before we went on, and he seems like he's going to be a good pickup for the Cowboys. Do you have any thoughts on him?
I don't have much thoughts about any of our picks individually because like I said, I didn't really watch college ball. But I love that the Cowboys focused on rebuilding that O line, or at least working up to get us. How do I say it? The people who are gonna fall in line once we start dropping our veterans and whatnot. Because we
Yeah,
really needed help. If you looked at us last season, our O line went to shit by the fourth. Was it the fourth or fifth week? That shit was horrible. We had people getting to Dak easily. The run game was horrible. We just needed help rebuilding our O line overall.
yeah. You guys got Cooper Beebe, and he's the O line guy, so that's going to be some good help right there. Who's the center that we lost, or the Cowboys lost at the end of this season? He got injured, and now he's not coming back. What was his name?
Wasn't it? He, was it Smith? I think he's playing with the Jets now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So apparently he's like my mom's cousin. It's somewhere down the line or something.
What?
But yeah, I don't know.
Or or, or are you
I never
talking
met.
about Tyler? Or are you talking about Tyler Biotish?
No, I think it's the Smith guy. Like I'm pretty sure. I don't know, but I've never met the guy or anything like that. But apparently, like like whenever I had a family gathering or whatever, and the Cowboys were on, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's so and so's son or whatever," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." I don't know,
Man,
but
man, we could be kicking it, and I could just name that. I could just say that shit about anyone, and you've never met the guy. I don't know if that's believable. Not saying that your mom's not telling you the truth, but
no, yeah,
it's like,
I don't know. I just thought it was funny because we're talking about how the O line needs help, and I'm just like, it's like, should I say that my cousin was on the O line? But
you're like, I know he's gonna spin it to some bullshit one way or another. See, he's trying to watch what you tell me. Don't worry, bro. We're partners on here. I'm not gonna cook you that bad. And I just wanted to
no,
give a
that's
quick
cool.
PS. I just want to give a quick PSA to everyone. This episode's gonna be rough because we're just a couple of dudes that don't really know football who want to talk football. So
Uh,
be patient with us. We'll get
I would
better.
say we don't. I would say we don't know. I would say that we're not like analytical nerds. We're not stat junkies. We're just fans with
There we
microphones,
go.
right? So,
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
but
See,
not like
I'm just here to shoot this shit with my boy Matt. You know, that's it.
like we hope that this is a fun conversation about football. This is our first episode, so yeah, things are a little rough, but you know, we just want to have fun conversations about football. Hopefully it'll be like 80% talking shit to each other and 20% football, or 70-30, but we'll figure it out. We just want to get through the first episode. So yeah, the Cowboys did really well with their draft picks. They got that extra third round pick. I don't know if that's all in, as Jerry would say, but you know, the draft was your main add players, and you guys got an extra pick, so you can't be too mad at it.
What caught me off guard is I thought we were gonna draft a center, and they drafted everything but a center. And when it came to the running back position, I was expecting to get someone there too, but apparently we're bringing back my boy Ezekiel Elliott, so can't be mad at that.
I saw that. I was just like, really, they're gonna bring him back? But
I won't
didn't
take
he
the
leave?
Ezekiel Elliott slander. He didn't leave voluntarily.
But he didn't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He left on bad terms, right? So I was like,
Not
whatever, bro.
Yo, as long as he's back, it's fine.
I mean, if he agrees to come back, then it must be all like water under the bridge, right? So, you can't be too mad at him. Uh, let's see. Let's go over to my team, the Seahawks. We picked up a player from the Texas Longhorns, and like I said, I'm not the biggest college football fan, but a lot of people that we know are, and they were super excited that Byron Murphy from Texas went over to the Seahawks. I know that the Seahawks really need O line help as well, right? So a lot of people were thinking that maybe they would go for a tackle instead of getting Byron, but I'm happy that they got Byron because we need defense. The Seahawks were always known as a good defensive team with the Legion of Boom and everything, and I know that they're a long way from that, but adding someone like Byron Murphy could be a step in the right direction. So I was happy with this pick. They did go ahead and get a guard with the third round pick with Christian Haynes. So you can't, you know, they did work on the line a little bit. They picked up a linebacker from UTEP over in El Paso, and I don't know much about the guy, but he seemed like a good guy. Like a cool player when I looked up his highlight reel. It wasn't the best highlight reel I ever saw, but he seemed like he was capable of playing his position. They picked up a tight end that I know nothing about, AJ Barner. He's from Michigan, so Michigan fans let me know how he played. And then they picked up like some cornerbacks. Like they picked up uh, Nehemiah Pritchett from Auburn, and I think that maybe they're going to try to move one of these guys to safety. Uh, they have like four cornerbacks on the roster or something, and they need help at the safety position. So we'll we'll see if one of these guys like Pritchett gets moved over to safety, or just we'll see how that goes because what unless they're planning on cutting people, they don't need like four cornerbacks. You know what I mean? So we'll see
Yeah,
how
one
it
of
goes.
them, someone's getting moved to the practice squad. So that's all I can say.
Yeah, probably. But like I said, I'm being brutally honest. I haven't watched much Seahawks football. I don't know what I'm getting myself into as a Seahawks fan. I just know that uh, it should be fun, and I'm hoping that having a new coach sets the tone for a new way and all that stuff. Return back to the Super Bowl contending ways, and I know that it's going to take some time. So I'm just going into the season with an open mind, and I'm hoping for the best. Um,
You're starting to sound like a
well,
Cowboys fan. There's still time for you to jump ship, bro. I'm always
no,
hoping
I
for the best. I'm always hoping this is our year. Just doesn't ever seem to work out that way. You know what? And it's okay. Like
yeah,
I took shit from jumping ship. I took shit for always backing up Dak and Zeke and all them. And it is what it is. Nothing's gonna change this season where I see it, and you're gonna see so much people on my ass talking about how trash my team is, yo. But we just gotta stick with them and roll through the season.
is the last thing that I want to talk about is the Guardian helmets. It just looks like some padding that goes over a regular helmet. Am I right in that,
That's basically what it
or does it go
is. I
under?
know. No, no, it goes over. It's not gonna look exactly like that. I believe some college teams actually wear them. It's also optional if they want to wear them or not. And what they'll do, they'll actually match it to the helmet itself. So it wouldn't really stand out as bad as that. They'd look bigger than what they're wearing, but other than that, it's not gonna look like they're walking around with foam pillows on their head, like in those pictures.
Yeah. Did you, I don't know if you remember, but back in the day, 2000, Vince McMahon started the XFL, and his I don't know if you did you watch any of that at the time? I'm sure you were really young, but did you watch any of
Bro,
that at the time in 2000?
I was about 5 years old, so no.
Yeah. Well, so like the whole idea of that was that football's weak and that this was gonna be a return to like a man's game, and they didn't do a coin toss. Like they had a 40-yard dash, and you had to like get the ball before the other guy, and that's
What?
how you decided. Yeah, and like they had like overly sexualized cheerleaders and just like all sorts of crazy stuff. It was crazy. Um, you could put anything on the back of your jersey and all that kind of stuff, and it didn't last longer than a season. There's a lot of really bad injuries. Like someone got paralyzed on the field, and just like it was really
Oh
bad.
shit.
So like I get the need for these safety rules, but I sometimes I'm just like, are they going too far? Like the no dip drop tackles and all that stuff. I'm just like, what is
How
are
else
they
are you supposed
taking?
to tackle them? How else are you supposed to tackle them? You can't horse collar. You can't. I mean, face mask. Of course, you don't want to see that happen. You
Yeah, so
can't even.
basically
Oh, what's up?
you basically have to be in front of your guy, right? So if you're behind him, you're fucked on defense, right?
Basically.
so so I'm just like the NBA went through a thing where they changed the way the refs call the games to benefit offense. And then we saw 170 point games. It's just like crazy stuff, right?
Yeah.
And then they had to change it. So like I'm just wondering if there's going to be something like that in the NFL. And I know I'm not necessarily saying that they shouldn't wear these pads or whatever. I am for player safety, but I just at some point, is it still a game if you can't tackle someone from behind anymore? Like what I mean? Like, the is it still football if we're playing with all these weird rules where defense can't do anything? What do you think about all that?
I think when it comes to the players themselves, I mean, it benefits them in the long run. They could have a longer career, not have to worry about, these life-altering injuries. Well, I mean, they're still going to happen, just not as often. The fact of the matter that they made the Guardian helmets optional and not mandatory, I mean, that'll tell you a lot. That'll show you a lot of players, who actually care about themselves and not just the money. A lot of people are clowning on them, saying they look goofy. They're p-wording the league, catting the league. But I'm all for player safety. I mean, they're gonna look like a couple of goofballs, like someone out of Spaceballs, but it is what it is. I'd rather them at the end of the day be able to go home to their families and not hear a second voice telling them to murder them all or, go jump off a bridge and, CTE is real, man.
Yeah, no joke. CTE is real. Like it brings up questions, right? Like, should kids be allowed to play? Uh, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I know that like America runs on this, but high
Yeah,
school, high school to college to the pros and everything. That's the American system. But it
let
just
me let, let me give you some inside baseball on that. Well, just not inside baseball because it's not for everyone. Let me just give you a little part of my life, all right?
yeah.
I was never able to play football, let alone street football with my cousins was very it would get pretty violent and whatnot, but I was always reprimanded from my mom, she's like, get your ass inside, you're gonna get hit and go crazy, or they're gonna knock something loose. So I was never able to join any actual sports. Like, I've always wanted to play football, never had the chance to. Only time I'd be able to play is when I'd sneak out with my cousins, and we end up in a random field and hey, let's play ball, but it was always like two-hand touch. So, I grew up playing that version of football. I never got to
Yeah.
experience, actually getting tackled and whatnot. So, I have no problem with what was I going getting with this? I guess I could see it from both ways. I would like to see football the way it is, but the way I was raised also it kind of pushes me for more towards, safety first. As for kids being able to play it, I don't think we're gonna have someone like fucking Ray Lewis knocking out another kid. So yeah, I don't think it'd be that dangerous. Now, when it comes to high school and whatnot, I mean, I've seen people get stingers and their backs messed up for life, or torn
Yeah.
ACLs and shit like that. But that could happen with anything, man. Shit, even playing
Well,
basketball young happens. What's up?
that's kind of what I'm getting at though, because I played high school football and I did injure my knee and everything, and it's just like one of those things to where it's like, yeah, you know the risk when you get involved, but like CTE is something that doesn't just happen. Like it builds up over time. So if you're like a quarterback or whatever, or tight end, like someone who catches these short passes that gets tackled, that kind of stuff builds up over time. So player safety is important. Like obviously, we want everyone to be as safe as they can, but football in essence is a rough game. A lot of people are known to get hurt playing football and all that stuff. So it's a fine line, and I just think that it's kind of it's kind of weird that they're changing all these rules about how to tackle and everything like that. And it's just like, if you catch a ball in the open field and all the defenders are behind you, like they might as well just let you score the touchdown at this point. So it's
Basically,
like,
I
so
guess
it's like does
what I was getting at, I guess, is I could do with the Guardian helmets. Maybe get rid of that hip drop tackle rule. I mean, that shit makes no sense whatsoever. You
yeah,
know,
because
you could
it's
take
like
one and not the other. What's up?
it kind of, to me, it takes away the competitive edge of the game. So it's like, yeah, we know what we're getting ourselves into. We sign up, especially when you get to the NFL level, you're making money. Like I know that not everybody in the NFL is, like a millionaire or whatever, but at the same time, it is your job to play the game. So, I
If I
just
could,
think that
if I could give an example from another sport, it's like well, like you said, when they started with that whole player safety stuff for the NBA, James Harden was getting 30 plus free throws a night. Defenders didn't even know how to go at him. To the point they just get out of his way and let him in. It's like, what the hell do you want us to do? You guys are gonna call a foul every single time. We can't touch him a certain way. We can't swipe. We can't put our arms on him. And that's kind of the direction where football is going. Like you said, he's like, might as well just let the damn running back or wide receiver run it in once he gets past you. You can't tackle him if he's ahead of you. You can't. You get what I'm getting at, right?
yeah,
It's like, how
yeah,
else are you
no,
supposed to tackle him?
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like to me, it kind of takes away the competitiveness of the game, and you want there to be player safety and all that kind of stuff. But like I'm all for the Guardian helmets, but I want us to talk about the Guardian helmets because it brings up like the broader issue of player safety, and I just kind of feel like the NFL is taking it a little bit too far, and they're going to see with this hip drop rule that you can't really tackle anyone once they get past you, and it's going to change the game, and they're going to have to backtrack that, I think. So we'll see how all that plays out on the field, of course, but I think that they might have taken it a step too far, and I say that to mean like I am for player safety. I just think that there's a balance to it. Everybody knows that playing football is dangerous.
Yeah,
So
so like you said, we're here for player safety, right? But we also want to be entertained. I don't want to see these motherfuckers running around covered in bubble wrap. That's not
yeah,
that's not really bringing me in or attracting me to the sport. Like
yeah,
sometimes I'll even go back on TikTok or YouTube and look at hardest hits in the NFL, you know? Because, they used to hype you up. Oh, did you see so and so got knocked out or they collided midair? Now you don't even get that type of energy out of the fans anymore. You're like more groaning and whatnot when they lay them out, and they're like, "Oh, here comes the fucking flag." You get what I
Yeah.
mean? It's very. I keep wanting to say it, but it's very kiddified.
Well, I appreciate you for not saying it. Well, let's see. All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up for us. This was our draft reaction episode and introduction to the podcast. So thanks for joining us on the No Punts podcast, everybody. Um, Elias, do you want to give your handle out, or do you still want to wait because you're going to change it? Or
I'm gonna go ahead and change it. It's gonna include something with the Sucios, because I ride for my boys at USOA. So
uh,
you
yeah,
you you know how
USOA.
that is.
Yeah. So you can always follow me on X. I'm at Matt Lerma _PS, and we'll shout out Elias's handle when he gets it ready.
Or
But
you know what? They could follow my current one right now. Follow me at Sith Lord Elias on the X. Or just follow
all
the
right,
pod and you'll find me in that
yeah,
profile somewhere.
we also have a page just for the pod called at No Punts Pod, just POD. So go ahead and check us out there as well. We'll be doing these episodes more frequently and then every week once the season starts. So stick it out with us, guys. I appreciate everyone for watching this first episode with us. Make sure that you like the video and comment on it to help us with the YouTube algorithm. And we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.
Later.